Hey, it's Chris from Hale Guitar Studio. Welcome. We're in for a treat today. BC Rich Mockingbird, just like the one Slash plays. We're going to be taking the pickups out, the Dimarzio Pickups, and all of the controls and replacing them with Slash humbuckers, Seymour Duncan Slash humbuckers, which is going to mean deepening the routs because the legs don't fit. They're long legs, whereas the Dimarzios were short leg pickups. So we'll sort that out. We'll give the whole thing a good spruce, new strings, get it set up with as low action as I can get on this, because that's exactly what the owner likes. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. Let's get cracking. Okay, right. We'll start taking controls off. So there are no strings on this, so I haven't got to worry about the trem block yet. That can all come later. I just want to take the control cavity cover off and start taking the controls out. Right, so loads of stuff in there. It's already been removed from the other side, obviously. I just need to start disconnecting bits and taking it out. All new components have been provided, so these are all getting changed. So what I'm going to do is release the rest of these components. So we've got a lovely little tone selector switch. Bit of bomb disposal. That's short. That's two off. Which means there's going to be a ground somewhere. There you are. So just rest you gently there. Oh, it's cold out here today. My nose is running a bit. I'm sure you wanted to know that. So here's a ground. So I don't want to run that again, although it is just coming from the trem claw. There you go. The insides are out. Let's put some washers back on. It's got a little plate inside here that has been signed by the builder. It looks like an old jack. Okay, there's a few more of these, so I've got to put these back on the other things. So here's this little plate, made in USA, signed by the builder. Okay, so now that that loom is out, we're going to take these pickups out. In fact, we're going to take this little shield out as well, because that's going to flop about all over the place and eventually scratch something I don't want it to scratch. So there you go, that's better. Right, pickups. So we're going to keep these, again, the black screws in the surrounds. I can't remember if the replacement set have got surrounds on or not. Either way, these are coming out and we are using the same screws. Okay, so that's the first pickup. What is it? The Dimarzio. It can go there for a moment. Makes sense, Dimarzio. Okay, and that's not going through the same hole. Another Dimarzio. No, there are two access holes. Right, Seymour Duncan Slash 2.0. No surrounds. Not here anyway. Okay, so this is the bridge. Which suggests that this is the neck. So we're going to do neck first. Right, so I can't use the old black screws that go with the Dimarzios because the screws are too short and they're raising the pickups too high. I need the longer screws that come with the Seymour Duncans. Okay, so we've now got these Slash pickups fitted. The legs are long on these pickups, these Seymour Duncan Slash pickups, and I don't think you can get them with short legs. The existing pickups that are in this were Dimarzio, and they're shorter legs. So the Dimarzio ones are about 20-25 millimeters. These ones are closer to 30 millimeters. So I've had to remove some of the material. My options were to either rout the material out, and I didn't really want to run a router or even put a template on top of the finish. So an easier option is literally just to drill either side. It's about a 22 millimeter Forstner bit I've used to drill, and that gives it enough space at the back for the tab. A little bit of chiseling just to open it up a bit, and then the screws are even longer, so I've just drilled holes either side just to give space for the bottom of the screws as well. And that now fits in here absolutely perfectly well, and it rises and falls and does everything it needs to do as a pickup. So I'm going to fix that one back in. Okay, so that's the three main pots in. We're going to do a bit of soldering now. Okay, so all of the controls are in. Doesn't that look nice? All nice and chrome. So the control plate's still off. So the switches aren't wired to anything. They're just in to fill the gaps. The small issue was the washers that come with the switches have got these little tabs on. And I cut them off, but I just didn't like how they were likely to rub against the finish. So I've just ordered some new washers and they're fitted on great. And then this rotary switch, rather than cut all the leads off of the existing rotary switch, isn't a rotary switch. It's a pot. In fact, one of the pots that arrived to be fitted had a tab broken. You see it's only got 1, 2, so it's bust. And again, it's not doing anything, so I use that. And the control, the turny bit, the knob, fits because it's the same stem. So yeah, they're all in. So that's fantastic. I'm really pleased with that. It looks really good. So the next thing to do is to put the strings on. I'm going to give this a bit of a clean over quickly. Put the strings on, which means putting the trem back in, and then we'll get it set up and then we'll test the pickups properly. So next step. Okay, so we're all strung up and we have both pickups. Neck pickup, bridge pickup. It's a bit low, I need to raise it. But volume for the bridge, volume for the neck, tone. And these do absolutely nothing. We'll turn that one all the way up. I feel happier when that's all the way up, even though it does absolutely nothing. It's done, it's wired. Right, okay. Now we need to look at this string retaining bar. Now the trouble with this is going to be that the way this headstock is designed, the strings don't sit down, and they can't sit down in the back of the nut. The purpose of a string retaining bar is to hold the strings down so that they sit flush in the back of the nut, so that when you tighten the clamps down, the string doesn't stretch and go sharp. But the back of this, the V at the back of this, sits higher than the actual top of the headstock, the veneer on top. So a string retaining bar will do absolutely nothing to fix that. But I need to decide if it's going to fit over the top, because the client would like it anyway because of the visuals of it. So I'm going to have a look at that next. So to start with, it's got a nice curve in it. Obviously the flat top goes at the top, and the round bottom goes at the base for the least friction on the strings. But to get it over this, Let me just move this guitar down a bit. This is an aftermarket truss rod cover. When you take this off, you can see the old screws. It's not the original. So there's our first issue. It's wider. You can see where the screws are. To actually, I'm either going to have to drill through the metal plate, which is going to look horrible, or bring it back to about here. And by the time it gets to here, as it's pushing the strings down, they're sitting really low, and in no way I mean, it might do it, it might, but you've got such a friction point here, it's going to make the tuning unstable. And on this one, even if I push it right down to there, it's not touching the V. That's nowhere near that. It can't physically go to the bottom of the V because the plate's in the way. Likewise, in fact, what's going to happen is it's just going to brush against that screw. And likewise, it can't physically get to the bottom of the V in the back of the nut. And it's putting so much tension on that string. I think it's a bad idea, if I'm honest. It would need to go there. And it won't do its job. No, I don't think it's a very good idea. Because that's just going to screw straight through the string anyway. So I don't think it's a very good idea to put that on. I think it's going to cause more problems than it's worth. In fact, I don't think it's going to go on without fouling this string and putting too much pressure on these strings. So unfortunately, the design of the headstock, it's a lovely guitar, but the design of the headstock means that the locking nut, you can't get the strings down in the back of it. You'll just have to compensate for it when you're tuning. It's the only way to do it that I can see. If you've got a better way, then please, by all means, put some comments below. So I'm just bringing these up so that I can take them down to a midway point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 maybe. So I'm going to go down about 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we'll set them all. Okay, right, so what's the neck relief like? This has never had, whilst it's been here, it hasn't had strings on. So I've no idea what the neck relief's like. It's a bit on the tight side actually. I think that's probably going to buzz. But I'm going to leave it where it is for the time being. We'll move it if it does buzz. String height. Now the owner does like low string height. And I mean that's insanely low. So that's definitely going to buzz. That's low there too. So that's, I'd be shocked if that doesn't need to come up. We can easily test it. So, I mean, call me shocked. Let's have a proper go. Let's get rid of that. Definitely buzzy. So I think both. I think the truss rod needs to come off a bit and the string height needs to come up a little bit. There you go. Right, so I need to loosen it off a bit because I think it's just a bit too tight. Feel it letting go already. So we'll bring it back up to pitch straight away. Of course. What am I doing? Come on, you. Back in the right nut slot. Can you see how there are extra holes? It's had a new truss rod cover. Okay. Let's have another little look. Okay, so it's still a little bit tight, but fractionally. So I'm going to leave it. Let's have a look at what the string height's like now. Still pretty low. I mean, it's 1.25 millimeters, and then 1 millimeter. I mean, I'd like it to be like that. I know that the client would like it to be like that. So I'm going to leave that for now and see. The next thing I want to do is just raise the pickups. Where's my little steel rule gone? I'd like to get balanced output on that. So they're going to be, so that actually, the neck's not bad. I think that wants to go down a touch. Oh, of course. Flathead screws. That's better. That's good. And that's really low. I knew it would be because it was a bit quiet. I'm not going to be too precise because it's likely I'll end up moving these anyway. It's still low though. Got my beard. Because if I change the string height, if I raise the string height at all, these will need to be moved again. So I'm just going to kind of set them thereabouts, which is thereabouts. And while we're plugged in, I'm just going to check the intonation. Yeah, it's really good. Maybe that's... No, it's this sharp anyway. Okay, no, the intonation's good, like that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is tinker with this at the desk to get that string height exactly bang on where I want it. And then I'll put all the knobs on that are missing currently. And then we'll take a lovely final shot of it all done and together and put back as it should be. Okay, so there you go, all put back together again. Knobs are on, looking really good. Switches are all looking nice and shiny. Setup's going really well. The pickups sound really balanced. The locking nuts, locking the strings, the issue with the retaining bar we've already discussed. I'll have a chat with the owner about that. But otherwise, the guitar's looking and sounding absolutely phenomenal. If you like this guitar or have enjoyed the video, then please consider clicking the like button and maybe even subscribing so you can see the many guitars that come through the workshop. Thanks for watching.